Welcome back to online classes. This is session 5 of learning the chapter Change and Development in Rural Society. In the previous sessions, we were going through important ideas from this chapter. I request all my dear students to go through that so that you will get basic knowledge from this chapter. And today I would like to teach you from the page number 67. The main topic is circulation of labor. Circulation of labor means what? The spread of labor all over India. This is the meaning of circulation of labor. So take the page number 67. 4.5 Circulation of labor. The first paragraph under this title, what we can say, concentrates or focuses on the topic of migrant agricultural labor. First point is that migrant agricultural labor caused by commercialization of agriculture. We know that in the previous sessions I explained you what do you mean by commercialization of agriculture. I wanted to repeat it. It means when Green Revolution emerged in India, the landowners, they gave more importance to more production because they started to get more money. They became more selfish, so they exploited the workers. The good relationship between the landowner and the worker destroyed due to what we can say Green Revolution. And we know that here commercialization of agriculture means what? When the production started to increase, the landowners gave more emphasis on more production. So they utilized their land. There is a link between agriculture and market. It means they are selling their products in the market, so they are getting money. Money started to flow to the hand of the landowner. That is the first point. And next point is that there is an increase in seasonal migration to prosperous Green Revolution areas such as Punjab by workers from their home village due to more demand for labor and higher wages. Simple meaning is that this is called circulation of labor. The people who belonged to rural areas or villages, they started to go out of their home, out of their village in search of job which can give them more wages, because there is a demand for labor from outside village. So they are going to other villages, other rural areas where land is there, agriculture is there, work, enough sufficient work is there, and more wages are there, better wages than the local wages. Next point is, and due to inequalities in rural areas also, it means why the workers are going to other places, why they are leaving their villages, because in their villages better wages are not there. They are not getting better income. That's why for better income they are leaving their villages and go to another place for work, because there is inequality in their village with regard to wages, because the landlords or landowners, they exploited the local workers. And it happened in middle of the 1990s, and women children and old grandparents, they were left at home, and the husbands or father, and he left their family. He left his family for better wages outside their village. And what we can say, and they are leaving their village because sufficient labor is not there, because such workers, they are living in drought prone areas. Drought prone areas means areas where rainfall is very less, and they are leaving their village because sufficient work is not there, because it is what we can say arid region, sufficient rainfall is not there. They are going to other areas where agriculture is prosperous and weather is good, rainfall is there, irrigation facility is there. In for that they are going outside, and there the village where the workers living unproductive region, much production is not there, and they are going to places or states like Punjab. There are sufficient agriculture is there, farms are there in Punjab, and they are going to Haryana for agricultural works, and in some work, laborers are going to UP because their brick kilns are there. Brick kiln means what? We know brick industry. They are going to brick industry. Kiln means what? Kiln is a machine, and by means of this, the brick can be baked and burned. So that they are going to brick kilns where the bricks, the muddy bricks are baked and burned. And some workers are going to New Delhi and Bangalore for construction works. There are some construction sites are there in New Delhi and Bangalore, and it happened in seasonal time. It means every day in a year there is no work. There are some seasons, and during such time the workers, the laborers are leaving their villages. The wealthy landowners neglect local laborers and prefer to employ migrant workers as they can be easily exploited. We have to understand one important thing. The local landlords, they are the local landowners, they are not giving job to the local workers. Instead of that, the landowners, they are calling laborers from other villages, so such migrant laborers can be easily exploited. Easily, because the land owners are giving very less amount of money to the migrant laborers. That is the reason. And next important thing is that we have what we can say workers, they are going to outside their village and they are getting very below the minimum wage, and they are landless also. Why they are leaving their land in search of job in other places? Because the such workers are not having the land, because they are landless people. If they have land, they can work on their own land and they can cultivate crops. Because of lack of sufficient land, they are leaving their home and in search of job in other places. And it happens during seasonal time, and so that the migrant workers are going to other places in the peak agricultural season. Peak of agricultural season. In a year, every day there is no work. There is a season so that during that time the workers are going in search of work. And this pattern is especially found in sugarcane growing areas. The migrant workers mostly they are working in sugarcane, what we can say growing areas, and the migrant workers living condition is very poor because they are living their village, because they are landless people, and in their village they are facing exploitation from the landowners, so they have to leave their village in search of job. But the place they are going to work from, there also they are facing discrimination and exploitation because they are not getting enough wages, and they have to hard work on the land, though they are not getting any sufficient amount of money, so that their life is insecure, their job is insecure. Now page number 68, paragraph 1. It concentrates on the topic of feminization of agricultural labor force. Feminization, a question can be asked, what do you mean by feminization of agricultural labor force? Feminization means the something related to women. We can go through that. And feminization of agricultural labor caused by the reason why it happened. The reason is that there is a large scale circulation of labor where men left their home villages, so the women did cultivation or agricultural labor in their village. We know that the men, they have to leave their family in search of job, and the women in the village, they also don't have land. They have to work on others' land, and there also they are facing some problems. And they earn lower wages than men, caused insecurity to women's life. Though women began to work hard on the field as landless laborers, they are excluded from land ownership due to privilege given to patrilineal kinship system where men's rights are privileged. Here we have to understand something. Women have to work in their village because in their family men are not there. Men left their family, men left their children, their wives and their parents. Men are leaving behind their wives, so the women have to work on the field, on the local field where they are facing discrimination because the land owners, they are not giving enough sufficient money to the women. Women are getting lesser amount, relatively lesser amount than that of the men. So women were discriminated on the basis of wages. Not only that, even though women are working on the land, they are excluded from land ownership. We know that patrilineal system is there in our society, which does not give right for women to own the land. This is a paradox. Even though women are working on the land, they don't have the right to own the land. And now we can move to 4.6, globalization, liberalization and rural society. Paragraph 1 under this title, page number 68, concentrates on the main idea of the policy of liberalization. A new policy emerged in India, that is policy of liberalization. Liberalization means what? Freedom. Policy of freedom in market. First point is that, and we know that this policy followed by India since the late 1980s. Globalization, the policy of liberalization was followed by India since 1980s. So from 1980s onwards, this policy happened or can be applicable in India. And what it says, and we know that World Trade Organization also connected with this policy. World Trade Organization, this is an international agency which controls import and export. And the purpose behind this policy is to free international trading system. Free international trading system. It means Indian market is open to foreign market. Foreign market is open to Indian market. It means foreign products can be sold in India. Indian products can be sold in foreign market. So international markets system started. And we know that, for example, we have some products to be imported. There are some products to be imported, such as what we can say, even wheat. We know that this policy of liberalization, increasing competition between farmers in India with that of the foreign market, because Indian market is open for the foreign products to be imported, so that there is a competition between Indian products and foreign products. Unluckily, people in India, they are preferring more foreign products. There is a controversial topic, because even wheat started to be imported to Indian market. We know that we were producing more wheat, so it was a blessing for Indian market, Indian farmers, because they can sell wheat in India as well as outside. But because of this policy, and wheat, even the product wheat started to be imported in India, it affected Indian market, it affected Indian farmers, because they could not sell their wheat in Indian market. Then, so what we can say, self-reliance is lost. But in the past, it was not like that. There was a barrier in import. But when this policy came, that barrier was removed, so that easily any product can reach in India. In the past, it was not like that. There was a barrier for import, but now it is not there. Because of that, self-reliance, some of the farmers who were suffering because of the freedom given to foreign market to come to India. Now we can move to next page number 68, last paragraph, page number 68, last paragraph, which concentrates on the topic globalization of agriculture. It means incorporation of farmers into the large global market. Incorporation of farmers into the large global market. It means what? The area of market started to increase. Globalization started. What do you mean by globalization? Globalization means what? The market in India is connected with the market outside India because of globalization. Many products can reach India from outside. Before it was not like that. Indian product have to be sold in India itself. But when the globalization come in the field of agriculture, Indian products can be sold in outside market, so that it will be a blessing for Indian farmers. And what we can say, there is another idea, contract farming. You have to understand what is the meaning of contract farming. Contract farming means what? Farmers, they are making contract with multinational companies to grow crops like tomatoes and potatoes. It means what? There is an agreement between Indian farmers and multinational agencies about growing crops like tomatoes and potatoes. Indian farmers, they will be growing, they will be cultivating tomatoes and potatoes. It will be sold or it will be taken by multinational agencies for their purpose. This is called contract farming, and this products, it means crops like tomatoes and potatoes will be bought by, it means the multinational companies will buy tomatoes and potatoes cultivated by Indian farmers for export. It will be exported, and companies identifies the crops to be grown. What do you mean by that? The companies will decide which crop to be grown. The companies, they know that in international market which product is what we having the more demand. According to demand, the international companies, they will ask the farmers to cultivate the crops. If the tomatoes are having more demand, if the potatoes are having more demand, according to that, the Indian farmers have to cultivate. And the companies will give what type of crop to be grown, and they will, what we can say, provide seed. The multinational companies will provide seed and other inputs like fertilizers and what we can say, pesticides. The inputs will be provided by the company people, and they provide information how to be done. All the information will be given by the company, and purchase the produce at a predetermined price. It means where the company people will talk with farmers about price, and there is a predetermined fixed price. After the harvest, the company people will give the amount of money to the farmers. It is already fixed before the agricultural season, agricultural harvest. And so there is no worry about market to be sold to the market. It means what? The farmers, they will not be concerned about how to sell the products. Why? Because the company people, they will take the product, they will purchase the products, and they will sell the products, and they will give some money to the farmers. So the farmers will not be worried about how to sell the products to market. And there are some crops in contract farming. What are the crops in contract farming? There are flowers, there are grapes, there are figs, there are pomegranates, there are cotton and oil seeds. These are the important, what we can say, crops in contract farming. The contract farming provide financial insecurity to the farmers. This is the negative side of contract farming, because the farmers, they have to depend upon the company people for money. If contract farming was not there, what would happen? We know that the farmers, they can easily sell the products directly to the market. So from the market they will get money, even though some insecurity is there. But here insecurity is more, because the farmers, they have to depend upon the company for getting the money, because company is purchasing things and company is giving some money, but the farmers have to depend upon the company people. And this is the first reason, what we can say, why there are some negative impact on contract farming. Second one is that agriculture is diverted from food grain to export oriented products. We know that the company people will decide what crops to be grown. So the farmers have to obey that. The farmers will prefer such products to be grown in India. So Indian traditional crops like wheat, such kind of food grain importance is lost. And so that export oriented products like flowers and jerkins, their importance is more. So traditional food grain farming, its importance is lost. This is another negative impact of contract farming. According to sociological perspective, what is the negative impact of what we can say contract farming? It is making traditional knowledge of farmers irrelevant. We know that. In the past we had farmers, they were using their traditional knowledge for farming food grain like rice, wheat, such other crops. Farmers are using their own traditional knowledge. In contract farming, knowledge will be given by the company. Company will decide what seed to be grown. So traditional knowledge is getting irrelevant because of contract farming. And because of contract farming, importance is given to the products used by elite people, elite items such as flowers and jerkins. These are the elite item, common people, and their what we can say importance, their needs are not satisfied. Needs satisfied that of the elite items or elite people. And reasons are required because we know that such crops need more high doses of fertilizers and pesticides. It means the modern crops, it means what? Because of contract farming, the company people will advise the farmers what type of seed to be, what type of crop to be grown. For such crop, fertilizers are needed. Chemical fertilizers are needed only when it will grow. Irrigation facility is there. So traditional farmers cannot do that. They don't have much knowledge, and because of that, the traditional knowledge is getting irrelevant. Not only that, the elite items, it means what? Such flowers, jerkins, for such crops, we have to apply the chemical fertilizers. It affected the ecology, the environment, the fertility of the soil is lost. When we are applying more manure, when we are applying more chemicals into the soil, there is ecological imbalance will be created. The soil will lose its original fertility. This is the another negative impact of contract farming. This is all about session 5 of learning this chapter, and you have to read the chapter, you have to go through important ideas, and in live stream I will emphasize more on some of the ideas where you can ask your doubts. So I wanted to give you some questions to be answered. First one, give meaning to the term circulation of labor and explain migrant agricultural labor. Second one, how does the policy of liberalization affect Indian society? Third one, how does globalization of agriculture affect Indian society? Next one, what do you mean by contract farming? What do you mean by contract farming? How it is done and its negative impact. How is it done and its negative impact on the farmers. So God bless you. Thank you.